After that segment, we see Rollins, walking backstage, and then J&J Security, come up to him. And, Rollins continues to gloat. I don't like to be the guy that said, I told you so. But I told you so. I didn't need you guys last night. And he really lays into them about how useless they are and this and that. But, he says, look, I'd be willing to give you guys your jobs back if you got any information about who my challenger is. And Jamie Noble pretty much laughs about that. And they say, well, look, we don't know anything. And even if we did, it really doesn't matter because we wouldn't tell you. And we know who should get a title shot. The last guy to pin the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, Joey Mercury. Seth laughs it off, and he says, wow, Jamie, you're even stupider than I thought you were. You're still drinking your grandfather's moonshine, all that stuff. But then Joey Mercury pipes up and says that Seth is scared of him. And I love this line here from Mercury. He says, you're afraid because regardless of where your career goes from here, it will always say in the record books that you lost to J&J Security. And now that you've alienated everybody, it's not a matter of if you'll lose the championship, it's only a matter of when. And they walk off. I'm telling you, when Joey Mercury speaks, it's been meaningful. I like that. I like that no words are wasted with him.
He's got a deeper than expected voice, too.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it really helps the whole look, of the smaller guy, the bald head, and you come out with a voice like that.
Yeah, it's almost like freaking Caval.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or Son of Havoc. He does that, too.
Yeah. Our first Dusty
We're
Rhodes
talking about WWE, and all I can do is think about other promotions.
Yeah. We get our first Dusty Rhodes memory of the night when he won the NWA World Heavyweight Championship against Harley Race. And then, and I'm only mentioning this because it serves a purpose later on, we get a commercial Roman Reigns, the whole ad council of being a dad, playing I'm a Little Teapot with his daughter. And I thought nothing of it, and that actually ended up being one of my favorite segments of the night. So then R-Truth comes out to the ring, a plunger and a paper crown like you would have gotten it at Burger King, and he joins the commentary table, but then, commentary makes Truth know that he's actually competing in a match tonight, and King Barrett had already made his entrance. I guess Truth thought he would just call Barrett's matchup. Turns out he was the opponent. And so it's Truth, or King What's Up if you prefer, against King Barrett. And the match barely lasts 30 seconds when Truth wins, what a surprise, with a roll-up. So, yeah, if you're keeping score at home, that is 4 times that R-Truth has beaten Barrett. That's pretty bad.
Yeah, but no, seriously, that's really terrible.
Yeah, it is. After the matchup,
but I will say, Barrett definitely got his revenge after the match.
Yeah, for a brief moment, because he hit the bull hammer, and then he says, this may be a joke to you, but it's not a joke to me, and you will no longer mock the king, and you will all hail King Barrett. So, that whole thing's going on. I really couldn't care less about this feud. I wish Barrett was doing something more meaningful. It's not even, again, anything against R-Truth, but it's R-Truth. I understand if you want to build the guy's stock back up, but I don't know. I really leaves a bad taste in my mouth, everything about this. But after that, we get everybody's favorite guy, Kevin Owens, and we get a recap of what happened last night at Money in the Bank with, their whole matchup, John Cena getting the victory, and then trying to show sportsmanship to Kevin Owens after the match. Owens wasn't having any of it, and he just delivers an apron powerbomb to Cena. So then Kevin Owens comes out, and Ashton, I'm going to let you take the reins here, because I'm assuming you love this promo just as much as I did. So what did you think about Kevin Owens here?
Oh, Kevin Owens is always great. The way that he finds a way to make everything look like he's the good guy in a situation is something that we've never really seen before in WWE.
And it's funny because really when you look at a great heel, or maybe you even know somebody in your personal life, I don't know if you'd be able to aptly call it like a narcissism or whatever, but can bring everything back to them and justify their every action. I know people like that. Yeah. So I feel it's a great heel characteristic for Owens to have, because I think it translates so well when you kind of reflect on real life. Like, wow, I know somebody like Kevin Owens, and then it just kind of sinks in like, wow, this guy really is amazing at what he does. And he says, it wasn't the idea that John Cena beat him. He could have just, walked to the back after his victory like Kevin Owens, he did at Elimination Chamber, which is a blatant lie, because Kevin Owens cut a post-match promo afterwards, which was epic. But he says no. Instead, John Cena just had to, sit there and, hog the spotlight. You want to talk about me being a sore loser? Let's talk about him being a sore winner. And then the moment of disrespect, he raised my hand, he forced me to shake his hand, and then he said to me that I just could not let pass. He said that you belong here in front of all of these people. And then Kevin pretty much says, I've known that I belong here the moment that I step foot in a WWE ring, so I don't need your endorsement in any way, shape, or form. I love that. I love the complete disassociation. Like, I don't need you, Cena. I don't need anybody's endorsement because I am the man and I know it, and that's enough. He makes everybody know that John Cena isn't here tonight, and that this would normally be the time that he would come out, hoist his United States Championship up high, and issue a United States Championship Open Challenge. And so instead, Kevin Owens will issue an open challenge himself, and he asks, who's going to accept it. Out comes Dolph Ziggler with Lana. They share a nice kiss before Lana goes to the back. And Dolph Ziggler says, besides kissing Lana just now, you just made my night. Because Ziggler just finds it, I guess, kind of hilarious that Kevin Owens talks about sacrifice when Ziggler believes that he and the Ohio embody sacrifice. And he says, tonight I'm going to beat you and I'm going to take that NXT championship, to which Kevin Owens replies, whoa, hold on a second there. I said that this was an open challenge. I never said anything about the NXT championship being on the line. So you and I can have a match, but it's non-title, buddy. And I love the troll smile that Kevin Owens has. That shit-eating grin like, yep, you thought you were 2 steps ahead of me, but I'm always a step ahead of you. God, Kevin Owens is so good. And speaking of so good, this match, though, holy crap. Like, this was really, I think, I would actually say, yeah, this was my match of the night. Because, Sheamus Ambrose was great, and I think they did a lot of great stuff, but the back and forth these two had was awesome. I love these two together. They have great chemistry. And Owens just did his usual thing. He picked Ziggler apart at first. He did the trash talking that you and I love, Ash, and he was like, show me why you're the show-off, and that's why I'm the champ. So Owens, man, just masterful every single night. And I think, Owens imposing his will on Ziggler, knowing that Ziggler had a Money in the Bank ladder match the night before, really makes you rally behind him. I love that Owens, could make anybody really look sympathetic, and he certainly did that in my eyes with Dolph here. Dolph's comeback was great. He got the show-off DDT at one point. My favorite spot, I think, because it really just showed the exhaustion of Ziggler and how far he was pushing himself. He got a super kick, and he just collapsed onto Owens. He couldn't even make a proper recovery. He just fell on top of him and only got a 2. They did a great hope spot at one point where Owens tried going for the, pop-up powerbomb. Ziggler actually lands on his feet, turns around, and he hits the zigzag. But the difference was he couldn't make the cover right away, so Owens was able to kick out. And then both men are getting up, and then Owens hits the super kick to Ziggler. Ziggler's his body's kind of leaning against the ropes. Owens throws him towards the opposite side, and then he hits the pop-up powerbomb. Kevin Owens gets the win after a very competitive matchup. And I think this is what takes a little bit of the venom out of the John Cena victory, is that, I know oftentimes I say, oh, this guy can recover, this guy can recover. No, I truly believe that somebody as legitimate and as masterful at what they do as Kevin Owens can recover. Because I feel like, the Bray Wyatts, the Rusevs, they all suffered from some kind of one deficiency or another that Kevin Owens doesn't have. He's probably one of the most well-rounded performers I've seen in some time. And, yeah, after that great back and forth, I definitely think Kevin Owens, especially what he did later in the night, which we'll get to, Kevin Owens is going to stay right on track. So, Ash, I'm curious, what did you think of this match, and what did you think of Kevin Owens?
Well, as far as the match goes, I think that the most effective spot in the match was the Cannonball, because that Cannonball looked so devastating that my mom was sitting on the couch over here, and she said, there's no way Dolph's kicking out of that. It's over. So the fact that Kevin Owens has a move that looks like it can be a finisher, that's literally just a spot that he does in matches, is pretty effective, and it's going to draw people in. If somebody just tunes in to see that match, and within like 30 seconds, they see that happen, and then Dolph kicks out, they're going to be like, oh my God, what does this guy have to do to put this guy away?
Absolutely, especially because it was preceded by a sick German suplex. So I honestly don't even
Yeah.
blame your mom.
And the German suplex was literally post to post. He started in one corner of the ring, and Dolph ended up in the opposite corner.
That's why these two are so perfect for each other, because we say that, like, we made the parallels between Owens and Lesnar, and Ziggler's just this guy of, you know, his stature and everything else. We say that he sells everything like death, so these guys are perfect opponents, man. I freaking love it.
Yeah. The German suplex basically allowed him to not even have to move in order to set up the Cannonball.
Yeah, dude, just fantastic. After the match,
Whoa.
go to a segment. Yeah.
I wasn't done.
Oh, I'm sorry. You sounded like you were done. So what else?
Well, no, I'm kind of backtracking because you just went through everything, and I didn't really have a chance to talk about anything before the match.
Okay.
As far as the beginning, I love Kevin Owens' line because you said that Dolph mentioned the NXT Championship, but he didn't. It was actually Lillian Garcia said that the following match is for the NXT Championship, and Owens cut her off by saying, and I love this, "Whoa there, Blondie."
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite lines of the night. Another thing that I really wanted to say, though, Dolph Ziggler and Lana are a really, really bad couple. If it's possible to have negative chemistry, I think they do.
I really just don't care for it, and I kind of fear that Lana may kind of sap Ziggler's momentum, because I remember the match he had with Kane a few weeks ago. There were actually "We Want Lana" chants. I don't think that works to Ziggler's benefit. That's just me. I really don't see any kind of positive net for this pairing. I'm just looking for Rusev to get healed up so they can have their matchup and just move on. Preferably everybody involved away from each other. But yeah, I'm right there with you. I really haven't cared about this pairing since it first formed, to be honest. I don't feel it. It seems to even jive against the Ziggler character that he would have a relationship. Even though, to be fair, I really enjoyed the Ziggler-AJ pairing. He seems more like a womanizer and a ladies' man rather than a guy that's able to commit to one person. That's just always the vibe I've gotten, and to me it just doesn't work.
Right, and honestly, I don't think that... I mean, you mentioned the drawbacks that it has for Dolph Ziggler. I don't think it really does anything for Lana either. Because really, I mean, if you want a diva to get super over, I mean, at least with the men and with the single women, why would you give her a partner? Why would you give her anybody to cling to?
Especially because, keep in mind, this relationship formed immediately after Rusev dropped.
Yeah, because, I mean, you've got women would be... They're more likely to cheer for a woman who is independent than they are to cheer for a woman who is dating a guy that they perceive to be hot. And Ziggler's one of those guys that a lot of women think is super hot. And now Lana being with him has almost turned a lot of women against her. Plus, on top of that, guys are more likely to get into a woman if they have the illusion that she's available. So it's one of those things where nobody's benefiting from this relationship, aside from the fact that Lana is getting screen time that I don't know if the WWE would give her without this being a thing.
I just think, I'm not saying the story would be perfect if it was the case, but I think it would be so much better if Rusev wasn't injured. Because you see, like, Lana doesn't even stay at ringside with Dolph when he has his matches. Like, the past few times, she's just walked to the back. So it's just like, oh, let me just appear on screen with Dolph so that everybody remembers that I'm a thing. And then I can just go to the back, whereas, I feel like if Rusev at least wasn't hurt, they would probably have more interactions, which would allow for Lana to have more growth and development, which I feel like she needs, and she's just not getting it, with this current pairing. So I can't wait for Rusev to heal, so hopefully they can have more interactions, that being Rusev and Lana, and we can get this show on the road.
Yeah.
But anything else you want to say about, again, Kevin Owens' promo or the matchup that he had with Ziggler?
No, we'll talk more about Kevin Owens later.
All right.